Welcome back. This is War General T bringing you his next battle report of a High Elves versus Vampire Counts. This is 2,200 battle points, practicing up for a local tournament coming up at the end of October. I have my High Elves playing against Nick Penske's Vampire Counts, who also has a channel under his name and has posted the video already of his on his side and his thoughts. So this is my post and battle report. Here we got some deployments. This is my left flank. Got my Reavers, the Eagle just behind the tree there. And then behind that is the unit of Phoenix Guards with 20 of them. Pretty much just a banner magician. Then a bolt thrower. You can see some archers there. That'll be in the next image. That's my left flank. And this is a little blurry. This is my right flank. There's those archers up on the little mound, the trees. Then the bolt thrower down below, and I have my dragon princes with the general, who's a noble, level 4 archmage on the white horse. He's missing. He's being worked on with the Lord of Shadow, and he had for magic he had Achman's Mind Razor, the Miasma, the Withering, and the Pit of Shades. And then I got my Silver Helms behind that unit, because of there with the BSB, who's a noble, and a level 2 mage on the brown horse next to the BSB, also being worked on. I took beasts with him, had to try something different, see if I can get some different magic and tried different spells out. So I got the Flock of Doom, the Wisdom's Wild Form. And then, of course, for our deployment, it was a Battle of the Pass. So we had pretty much from the long way of the table to go, and with the terrain featured up, I pretty much deployed all my Calv on this side, trying to hope to get through past the shrub hedgerows up there and more into the center of the table. Of course, I had fewer units to deploy, so he was able to. You'll see his deployment coming up. Then we got Vampire Counts deployment. This is his right flank. Unit of 5 wolves alone out there, and then a unit of this here 25, 4, 5, 20 some zombies with a level 1 vampire in, and then more off to the left being the next image. This is his left flank. He has a unit of zombies behind the other house next to the first zombie unit you saw, with also a level 1 vampire. And then up ahead of them you got the big unit of skeleton warriors with 2 banshees up right in the front row, along with his level 4 necromancer, master necromancer, as his general. Then on the left of the house you got the small unit of spirit host. Then 2 more units of wolves heading up the front for vanguards and flanks and all those specialties that those guys play. Then you got, I didn't list it here, but you got the crypt horrors in front of the 2 big units there of 8. And then you got the Terrorgeist trailing, and then the Mortis engine to get all. And then he pretty much had more units to deployment, so I had once I was deployed, pretty much did about the Terrorgeist, the engine, the crypt horrors, and I believe it was the skeletons and the zombies he was able to deploy, and he bunched them all up here, keeping them within range of that Mortis engine. So that's his left flank. And of course here you can see the terrain, how it's set up. So I wanted to hopefully try to get through that gap, and out here more in the center of the table. But for deploying. We'll eventually say it at the end, but one of the things I probably should have done was come down in the middle here or further the opposite side, but most likely you would have deployed on that side, so whatever. That's that. Decided to try something different, and this is what I went with. And here we go off to Vanguard. As we rode, he got first Vanguard movement, so that the first wolves there at the bottom, they moved to there. Then I moved my cavalry up, and he moved his other 2 wolves up. That's for our vanguards. And here we go to Vampire Accounts turn 1. Pretty much it's all movements, and zombies turned around, zombies moved up a little, dogs are moving around, coming up. Terrorize the crypt horrors moving, the Terrorize Mortis engine. I think it was on this turn, and probably more on the second turn. He was going to fly his Terrorgeist up some, but with his wolves there vanguarding I guess he just didn't like the angle, so he kept him in the rear. And then we go, so there's no charges. And we'll go on to magic. Then we go on to Vampire Accounts magic phase. He gets 6 dice, and I get 4. So his first spell, he rolls 2 to raise those zombies, the Invoke and Nihak or something like that. And I let it off. Hopefully he gets like a 2 and a 1 or something like that. Here, look at that. 2 6s. So he gets 12 guys plus whatever that was like. It came out to be about 4, 8, 12, 13 guys. Game. Or, yeah. 14, 12, 14 guys, something like that. But yeah, he got a lot more zombies there, so that unit's a little bit bigger. And his next one, he rolls another 2 dice, gets a 10. I roll 2 on my dice to dispel, get a 15, dispelling that. So then he leaves his last 2 dice for the next turn, because he got that one special spell the vampires get to hold on to dice. There's no shooting because he doesn't have anything in range, and there's no comeback because this is top of turn 1. So we'll go on to the next one. Here we are on High Elf turn 1. What is that? Yep, this is High Elf turn 1. So pretty much I moved my Eagle up. The Reavers moved up and around to having shooting angle at the wolves. My Phoenix Guard moved up, and then of course I decided to march them a few more inches, which I probably shouldn't have done, but oh well. So they've moved up some, and for the charges, I was going to do those Dragon Princes up at the top there into the Spirit Host. See what I can get there. Fortunately, I failed my charge and I only moved 3 inches. So then my Silver Helms, they were kind of stopped, so they just moved up, staying within the 1 inch space of the Dragon Princes. And then we move on to magic. For our magic, I got a big roll plus a channel, so I got 11 total. And he has 6, and of course 2 from his magic phase that he got to keep, and then he channeled 2, so now he's up to 10. And so the first one I go, I 3 dice the Wisdom's Wild Form on my Dragon Princes. He lets it go off. Then the next one I go for the Withering onto his. I attempt to Withering probably on the Spirit Host, but of course I missed that with the roll. by 2, I believe. And then my level 2 guy, my beast mage, he rolls the last 3 dice at the Flock of Doom. I believe it is at the wolves there. So I get 14. Then he rolls off 4 of his dice and dispels it. So that's the end of High Elf magic. Then we move on to the shooting. So for the shooting here, my first bolt thrower that was at the bottom there by the Phoenix card kills 2 of those wolves there with the red dice. Then my Reaver shoot, killing 2 more, leaving that 1. Then my bolt thrower shoots at the wolves behind the hedgerows there. He only is able to kill 1. And then my archer shoots, killing a second. So now he's down to 3 there. And then for that's for shooting. There's no combat, nothing's in contact yet because it's still first turn. So we move on to the next one. Here are vampires count turn 2. For his charges, his wolves are charged into the bolt thrower. His spirit host charges into the archers, and that lone wolf charges into my other bolt thrower. I guess he's trying to take out all my shooting at once. That's why he doesn't charge into my dragon princes with the wolves. And then for some movements there, I got that arrow there that the wolves, they move up over around the hedges to move up. And then the rest of the movement will be in the next image. And here's his movement. Skeletons move up around the house. The zombies are behind. Then his other zombies move up their normal movement. And so everything's pretty much moving up their normal movement. Also, again, here's on this turn, he was going to think of flying his Terrorgeist there into that opening by the princes. But, of course, he's also a High Elf player. He has his own High Elf army, and that's both of our my good army is the High Elves, and his good army is High Elves, so he played that last year at North Star, and it's my list is kind of close to his, except for I have Phoenix Guard in my army. Otherwise, pretty much everybody else is the same with the bolt throwers, princes, silver helms, and fill in the core and whatnot. So that's why he left him there, because most likely he knew I had the banner of the World Dragon, the Dragon Princes, which I did, of course, and so he just kept the Terrorgeist there, didn't fly him over. And that's pretty much it for movement. Then we go on to magic. He rolled for 7 dice, and I got 3. So the first one he rolls on is Raise the Dead. And again, I let that go off, thinking he would get a low roll, which luckily he did, getting a 3 and a 1. So only 7 zombies. Be in one of these other images coming up, because they come up right where those dragon princes are. I believe that's this one that he puts out. It's up there in that space. So you'll see that coming up. His next spell, he rolls and they invoke Nihak, whatever. That's how you say it. But he rolls that spell to raise more dead or zombies. And I dispel that scroll. I used this dispel scroll on that. Thinking, I don't want any more those little units coming up to block me anywhere, and like the first time. So I dispelled that. Then he uses 1 dice for a dance spell, gets it off on a 10. I attempt to dispel with 2 of my dice. He had his power dice was a 10. My dispel, a 7. Missed it, even with my level 4. Oh, terrible rolls. And for shooting, there's no shooting because he's not in shooting range. And for combat, believe might be on the next image, but that'll go into my turn. Just kind of give you an overview of the 4 wolves that were into the bolt thrower. He killed one of my guys, so and then I was able to kill one of his wolves. The spirit host attacks my archers and killing 3 of them, winning combat there. And then the lone wolf hits my other bolt thrower, gets he gets in, but out since I'm a high elf, I attacked first and wiped him out. And then we go on to my turn. And here we are at high elf turn 2. And those zombies that you raised in his magic phase must be down by the house, between the houses there. That first one that you raised. So we go on to this. Dragon princes, they charge into the wolves in front of the bolt thrower. And then I move my silver helms to them over there in order to get a range of charging something. So hopefully his crypt horrors will go on my dragon princes, and then I can go on the flank of him. His other wolves there, they've moved up in his phase. So that's about it for that one. And for the rest of the movements, my Phoenix Guard, they just march up. My Reavers, they get within shooting range, but are hopefully his charge range, so they end up there doing some shots. Then we go on to magic. So this magic phase, guess what? I roll 3 dice. That's it. That's all I get is 3. He gets 2, and plus his 2 from, I believe, holding on again. Yeah, he saved 2, so now it's 4 to 3 and whatever. And first one I try withering. He lets go off, so his crypt horrors go down toughness by 1. Then I roll my last die for doom, get an 8. He attempts to dispel it. And on the crypt horrors also, he attempts to dispel it with 1 dice and gets a 7. So then I roll my 2d6, gain 10 hits and eventually 3 wounds. So one of them dies, but unfortunately later on he'll come back. And for shooting, the first bolt thrower shoots into the zombies. Zombie. Must be the zombie behind the hedges. Getting 1 wound and then 1 dead. Then my Reavers shoot at the zombies in front of them there, killing 2. Then my Dragon Princes, no, they're not. That's combat. The other bolt thrower, he's in combat. The archers in combat with the spirit host. So we'll go on to combat. Here's that first combat with the spirit host. My turn. So unfortunately I can't do any attacks because only special magical weapons. So he does his attacks, and I still win by 1. He only gets like two hits on me, and no, 1. He kills one of my guys because there's one guy missing there. But unfortunately, I had the banner and the magician, so I won by 1, and he gets a wound. Yay! And we go on to the next one. And here we are at the Dragon Princes. They of course kill off those wolves in front of the bolt thrower, and then overrun into the next wolves there. So that's pretty much it for the combat on High Elf turn 2. Then we go to Vampire Counts turn 3. The fun turn from now on. So here you can see some charges. His skeletons come in with the banshees. The crypt horrors go into the side of the dragon princes. And then he finally flies his Terrorgeist over in the movement to where he is there. The engine moves over. Of course, you've seen in his battle between before all these turns, he has to roll for that Morris engine on his aura. So pretty much won't go into all that kind of stuff for him because that's what his army did, and you can watch his video and what they did. And that's it for charges and movement. Well, here's those other charges. Oh yeah, this is the charge that was pretty much the most amazing charge for the vampire accounts. I was at least a good 12 inches, which I wanted to stay away from when I did my shooting. So he used movement 3 or whatever, and he's 9s or whatever. He rolls 2 6s. Unbelievable. And he gets in with those zombies. What a charge. Amazing charge. No, he had no banner in that one, even for the swiftness or anything like that, or any kind of banner, I don't believe, to add in movement or whatnot. And here he gets in. Lucky zombie. So with that, we go to magic. He gets 8 dice with his 2 from before, for a total of 8 dice with the 2 from before. And I get my 5. So his first one, he dispels he uses 3 dice to dispel my withering on the crypt horrors. Gets that dispel. Then he goes for 2 on the raised dead. Gets it off. I take my 2 dice. With my level 4, I should get a 6. When I roll, I get 2 1s. Snake eyes for dispel. Unbelievable. Oh, my magic phases, dice rolls, and the dice rolls from the magic phase are just not going well for me. Then he uses I believe he uses 3, 5. Yeah, he uses last dice for the dance. Goes off on 20. I attempt to use my last 3 to dispel and get a 14. So that goes off. Yay. And then we go off to shooting. So that when that Terrorgeist was there, he took his screams at the Silver Helms, killing 2. His banshees shoot at my dragon princes. I saved those wards on the ward saves. Unfortunately, on his second banshee, I miss it by 1. I get a 1. So 1 dragon prince is dead. Then we go into combat. Oh, here's that image before for magic where you raised some zombies in between the houses there on the turn 2. So we got that image there. Here's a combat image of the Spear Host and the Reavers again. Unfortunately, this turn, he rolls, doesn't get any wounds. So unfortunately, since he didn't get any wounds, he has to take a wound because I got the Musician. I won by 1. Yay, Musician. Blow that horn. Sound off. So they take another wound there. And then we have the Wolves against the Dragon Princes. Here's those Dragon Princes wiping out the unit of the Wolves. So they're gone. Then the Dragon Princes attacks the zombie unit, killing none. And the Crypt Horrors attacks 1 and nothing there. So on their attacks back, his wolves failed, of course, because they're dead. So the zombies, they attack back. They don't get anything through. The Cryptors, they attack, getting like probably about 4 wounds going through. I say 1, so 3 die. So I'm down 4 Dragon Princes. And there's another. They raise the dead on that one. He put that unit there between the Silver Helms Crypt Horrors. That's where he raised those dead. And then you see the missing horse. Couple horsemen from the Silver Helms from the Terrorgeist's screen. And that's it for Vampire's count turn. Then we go to High Elf turn 3. We got the Elven Reavers in the front, and then I charge my Eagle into the rear of them. The Phoenix Guard, they just move up again, up heading towards the zombies between the houses. And that's it from pretty much for that image. Then for movement, up here on this flank, the Silver Helms are charged into those zombies that raised up. And of course we're in combat there, so I got combats both sides. Couldn't really reform after combat, which sucks. And had to stay pretty much like that the rest of the game. And then we go off to for magic. I get 8 dice. He has 6. So I roll for Occams onto my Dragon Princes, getting 2 6s. So that's off on onto my Dragon Princes. I roll for the Dispel, get a high of 10, something like that. So then I rolled my D3 dice, and I lost 2 levels. So I used that spell, and it was the Withering, so the other spell I lost. So then my level 2 casts 4 dice on Wisdoms, getting a 17. He rolls his 4 of his dice, gets 23 or something like that. So that's the spell. And he's got 2 dice left over for the next round. Great. Here's some more images of the combat. He killed my one Silverhelm, and I was getting like 5 or around about 4 to 8 wounds on him each round here, with both attacks on each side, and of course the combat res and a few more dying. And then here's this combat. I lose another one. Of course, I still win by 1, so he takes his 3rd wound there. And here's another image of the Silverhelms and those zombies, just wiping them out, and then doing reform to get into the Crypt Horrors. And then we are off to turn 4 for vampire accounts. And as you can see here, his Terrorgeist comes into the side. His Mortar's engine gets in. So now I can't charge his Crypt Horrors. So sad. Come on, Elves. Whatever. And for that, for a magic phase, he gets 4 with his 2 from leftover. I believe he had 6 left, something like that. And then I get my 2 dice. No, he rolled for 2, and plus his 2 from last round, so he has 4 total. I have 2. He rolls 2 dice on the invoke. I let that go off. He raises another unit further down somewhere, probably on another image. I don't have those pictures. Then his second spell he uses for the dance, gets a 12. So I take my 2 dice and I roll, and guess what? Snake Eyes again. Oh, what? Why can't those Snake Eyes come on the leadership tests or break tests or in, like panic and fear and all that stuff, when I need 6s on spells, and then on spells have 6s? What? Oh, darn you dice gods. Anyway, then we go off to shooting. His Mortis shoots at the Silverhelms, doesn't do anything. His Terrorgeist shoots and kills 4 more guys at mine with his Scream. Then we go into combat. Here we are in combat, and the result, and you can see Terrorgeist attacks, the Mortis Engines attacks. What gets me down to those 3 guys. And the same with the Dragon Princes, with the Crypt Horrors. They're getting a lot of attacks and wounds through. I'm failing my armor saves and then my ward saves. Of course, there's my my turn, my bolt thrower turn there to shoot face at the Terrorgeist. Then we get the result here. Those Dragon Princes are fleeing. They were, oh yeah, this is the result. So I fled like 8 inches. His skeletal was 6, and his crypt horrors were like 5 or something like that. So they didn't catch me there. So they're off for the races. Then on my high elf, turn 4, I charged my Phoenix Guard into the zombie units that was between the houses there. And you pretty much, I wiped them out in combat with all my 15 attacks. And then of course, before the charge, after the charge, I attempt to rally those Dragon Princes. Unfortunately, they flee. They miss it. They continue on fleeing, and it might be in the next images, but of course I lost my banner at this point. And let's see what else here we got. For magic, I had rolled 4, and then he had his 4. Oh, 2 from last time. Then pretty much I just got my level 2 that's on the brown horse in front of the Terrorgeist left, because the other one's fleeing. So I go for all 4 dice on wisdoms. Yeah, wisdoms, and he uses his dispel scroll then at this point to dispel that. So off to shooting, that bolt thrower shoots dead on into the skeletals, zombies, or whatever the skeletal unit, and kills 4 of them. My archers shoot into that unit, killing none. And my other bolt thrower shoots into the unit with banshees, I believe, killing 2 more. That's it for shooting. Combat, as you can see there, was pretty much a wipe. I pretty much got my mage. He was able to get 1 wound on the Terrorgeist before he died. So there's vampire counts turn 5. As you can see, my mage is gone after combat last round. And he decided to charge the skeleton units into my Dragon Princes. So what he needed to do that, he needed like 7 or 8 inches, something like that. And guess what he gets on his roll for charging? 2 6s. I think I got that image here in here, I don't know, but yeah, something like that. A 6 or a 5 or 2 6s, something like that. Ridiculous. So not only did the zombies earlier get a charge, right, a supercharge, now the skeleton warriors got a supercharge, wipes out my general and my level 4 mage, and then gets the points for the unit here. So this turn, he gets everything in 1 point. Elves. Vampire counts. What a matchup. So we go off to magic. I don't remember what he got or what I did. It was probably low dice anyways, and he raises these guys up to block them. Then off to my high elf, turn 5. This is the result from that the combat on vampire's turn. My ego dies. Eventually die. He gets enough wounds and my ego dies. But then I was able to wipe out the rest of his zombie unit there, and my reavers just reform there. And of course I charged my Phoenix Guard into the zombies, wiping them out, which they are built for, and they do. And then on the regular movement, on my turn, I just moved my reavers up and finally decided to march my archers forward to get out of the range of anything up there while that's in combat to keep those points. For shooting, My bolt door there, I believe I shot at the Crypt Horse, attempted to do some wounds and get nothing. And that's pretty much it. Of course, we did go another round just to see what would happen. Of course, he wipes me out down to my Reavers and my Phoenix Guard. But for time-wise, and because it takes a while to take pictures and write notes, which was usually around, could be up to, say, under half an hour. But so we decided to go to turn 5 here, and at the end, turn 5, see what happens. And of course, he wiped out my Silver Helms in combat, and my Dragon Princes were gone on his turn and of his charge there. Oh, that's the image I didn't have, is the Silver Helms. But so overall, I had rounding from victory points. He had a good 2,100 points left, and I had around 600 left. In with that difference, it was a 1,500 point spread. Victor for the vampire counts. And on here, you can tell this. There's my High Elf General and one of his Cryptors. The victor and the loser. So kind of recap some of the things that I thought were interesting in this game was my archers holding up that spear host and killing him through combat res thanks to the musician. And then of course the next issue is deployment. Unfortunately, fewer units deploying. He had more units than I, so couldn't really out deploy him. I had to plan my strategy of getting through that between the hedgerows and the hit one hill there and try and get more in the center. So I probably should have deployed them more center instead of out there. And of course his dogs were the big changer to that, blocking me and having to block my charge, and of course failing my charge there at the beginning. So and then of course we get the magic phase, pretty much with the vampire counts away. And of course with vampire counts, the number one thing I personally have issue with the vampire counts is, one, you gotta kill their general right away. Unfortunately, he was in the unit, but he was off on the other side, so I couldn't do any challenge. Well, maybe I could have challenged. I don't know. If you thought I could, leave a note. But anyways, his general was way on the other side, and then my general was in the center, so they couldn't kill each other. And then, of course, he was further back to start with, and hardly moved up. Then the next one would have to be his Terrorgeist, the big dragon, dead dragon or whatever it is, the Terrorgeist, with his screams. Not only does he get it every single round, but he can do it in combat, out of combat, and all that special thing, which I think is totally bogus. Of course, you got other beasts like dragons and chimeras and whatever else that has the flaming breath rule. You only do that once per game. Of course, I don't have any battle reports of it, but eventually I do have a dragon I will be playing. But you only get one shot in the whole game. Screamers, Terrorgeists, Banshees, they get screams every turn in the shooting phase. Every shooting they get to do that. That's 6 times. That's like 6 breath weapons. But of course you see in movies and in the big movies, fantasy movies that have come out lately, just go LOTR or HOB. And then you got those movies that have come out. The dragon, he's blowing it every 5 minutes or 2 minutes. He has multiple breaths. So hopefully that's one of the changes in the ninth. I hope they change with fire breaths, because you got screams that can do it every round. They should have dragons can fire their breath more. They should be able to do it every round also. So if you're watching Games Workshop, change those rules. Add that in. Then maybe I'll play more dragons. But we'll see what happens with that. So in conclusion, hope you enjoy. I hope you enjoyed my little rant here at the end. And if you have any comments and agrees or disagrees, please let me know. I'd like to keep up on that and talk to more of you. So thank you for watching, and hope to see you in watching future battle reports. Have a good day.